Okay, let's take a look at the piece you find right in the bottom of the cardboard box where your Carony Evo has been delivered in. This piece is a two-piece unit. One piece that you're going to install on the seat, which is the Carony carriage, and one piece in the bottom that you're going to install on the tourney or the turnout. To get these two pieces apart, you have to use your thumbs to push on the two metal bars that comes out from the Carony rails. By pushing them, you release the locking piece from the rear two claws that clamps on to the rear axle of the Carony carriage. So as long as you don't release that locking device, you cannot release it. But by using your thumbs to push on the metal bars, and using your 2 or 3 fingers to slide it towards you, you can now release the Carony carriage. And this piece is of course meant to be installed on the seat. The other piece, well, it depends on if you're going to use a tourney or turnout, but they both have the same possibility to install it on, of course. Let's take a look now at the Carony as it is when you have a seat on it. You have to imagine the seat here, because I have installed the seat carrier, the Carony carriage, into the Carony rails. So now it's stuck, so to speak. If you need to disengage or take away the seat from the Carony wheelchair, I will now show you how to do that the easiest way. You see here, inside the locks, on each side, there is a silver-colored metal bar. That is the release mechanism of the locks. That is the one you need to push quite hard with your thumbs, and at the same time pull it backwards. So this is something I suggest you are 2 persons to do. But now, since I only have the Carony carriage as it is, without the seat, I will try to show you with my thumbs how to take it off. I use one thumb to push the one silver bar. Sorry if I'm now putting my arm in front of you, but I push with the other thumb on the other side. When I push them in, they are spring-loaded, so they are quite hard. Then I use my fingers to pull it backwards. Let's see. There you go. It is quite easy to hurt your thumbs in this sequence, but if you are 2 persons, it is much easier. And of course you can use a tool like a screwdriver or a wrench to push these so that you don't hurt your thumbs. Then it's only to slide it off. So if this was a seat, now the seat is loose. And now let's take it the other way. How to install a seat, which you have to imagine once again sitting on top of the Carony carriage. It is a little bit harder since these wheels are a little bit smaller and are underneath the seat to see where they're going to fit inside the rail. But if you use the plate as a guide leaning against the rail, you will find the right track for it. And then it is very easy to slide it into the rails. It moves with no friction at all on ball bearings. But it's not it's not a good idea to have the seat loose like this. We need to lock it in position. And it doesn't lock even if I push it hard several times. We need to push the 2 metal bars, one on each side, silver color right inside the locks, to release the locking device on the locks. So with your thumbs or with a tool, press them in at the same time as someone or you push it forward with a firm handle. I will now try to show you this, but this is hard. So I will twist it over a little bit so that you can hopefully see what I'm doing. I'm using my thumbs to push these in, but then you need really to push with something. It is hard. There you go. It is hard, and I can tell you it hurts in your thumbs. So be two persons or use a tool to push it on. It's much easier. I will now show you how to install the Carony carriage on the seat. Even if I have the brand new compact seat right on the table here, it could be any seat, you know, the BEV seat, the LP seat, the Recaro seat, whatever you fancy. In front of me I have the Carony carriage, which I released earlier. And just to give you a hint about how it's going to be installed, you probably can see that it's a little bit shaved off in the corners here. That is front. You see, on the other end they are squarish, very 90 degrees angled. But on this side here it's a little bit shaved off. That is front. You can also imagine the two locks sitting at the rear, grabbing onto the axle here. In the front area it's not possible to lock it on. So of course this is rear. There are not so many holes, so I don't think there would be a problem for you to find out which one is which. But there are two hole patterns. One is a little bit larger, M8, 4 holes. That is for BEV, LP seat, and the brand new compact seat. The smaller ones, which are 2 in the front and 1 in the rear, that is for Recaro. And before you put it on, line it up with the holes and try to get the screws in. You will find it is a little bit hard, so I suggest that you have it in the air, so to speak, when you slide them in, because you need to push them in sideways. And before you start tightening anything, have all the bolts installed like this. Now you know that all the bolts are sitting in the carriage, they are lined up with the threads in the seat, and I suggest that you use an Allen key with a ball end, because you need to slide it a little bit sideways. Take one at a time, make sure it got the threads all right. No misaligned threads, because that will hurt the seat, and it is quite hard to repair a seat with a damaged thread. So take your time. Make sure it goes nice and easy without any disturbance in the threads. When you have tightened them a little bit, you can do the finishing touch by just tighten them hard enough. When it comes to installation, there are different ways to do it on the Carony Evo and the Turnout. So let's take a look at the Carony Evo. Here we need an adapter bracket. It looks like this, and it's supposed to be bolted directly on top of the Carony Evo. And as you can see, I've already taken away the shrouding that sits normally around the corner here, so I get access to the screw. So when it's tightening, we now have prepared the surface for the docking plate. The docking plate itself comes in two pieces. One is a small cover and the other piece is a large bracket that is pre-assembled and ready to install. You line up the two holes in the back here. These two holes are easiest to see. They are supposed to line up with the two holes at the rear of the bracket. So you just put it on, slide it back in position. Together with the plate there are 9 bolts. 2 at the rear that you can attach already now. Before you tighten anything, you find all the other holes, and there are 2 here. Now we only have the cover and 2 bolts left. We put the cover over the locks with the bended piece facing backwards. We line it up with the 2 holes and we use the 2 remaining bolts to attach it to the bracket. This also clamps the bracket to the adapter plate. And it's the same thing as we did before. We use an Allen key to tighten them all. And now it's ready to use. But before you use it, you of course put the shrouding back again. The easiest thing to do this is to put the 2 bolts into the holes. Lift up the footrest, line it up with the front here, and then try to find the bolt with the Allen key. See if you can find the thread. Before you tighten it, you locate the other one. See if you can find the thread with this one as well. And it shouldn't be a problem, because if this one is lined up, it's normally not a problem. This one you can tighten immediately. And then tighten the front one. There you go, ready to use. And on the turnout, it is exactly the same thing except for the adapter bracket which I installed on top of the Carony Evo. You see the new turnout 2 has already pre-drilled holes to attach the Carony system directly on top with the 9 bolts. So on Carony Evo we need the bracket. On the turnout 2, you just bolt it on. And if you have a question regarding installation with old turnies or old turnouts, don't hesitate. Call our customer support center or search the dealer web for the answer. Normally we have a solution for any combination. Maybe we don't present it as a news together with the old product, but we usually have a solution that helps you help your customer.